So, any last questions you want to ask?
I guess in general, in my home situation here, my husband and I, we're good. We're, we're not looking at any parting or anything like that. But life is difficult where we are. We live in his family's land. My husband's First Nation, and we're on the reserve. We're not on his plot of land. We're working towards that. And it just seems to get harder. Right when we think it can't get any harder, it does. I'm just wondering what we're missing.
Ancestral balancing and magic on the lands that you're living on within 5, 10 to 15 miles of you. Just because you have native blood on native land doesn't mean all the native ancestors like you.
Okay.
Not the living ones. We're talking the ones that have crossed over, that are not ghosts, but are ancestral service beings. You need to start doing ancestral offerings, fruits, vegetables, soups. Knowledge and wisdom are some of the greatest energy exchange to the ancestral process. Becoming an ancestral medium to go out in the forest and ask what the ancestral needs are so you can make a manifestation of energy exchange for them. And especially your husband. He's the one that's got to be the chief of that. If he doesn't want to do that work, this is going to continue over and over and over again, no matter where he lives.
So can we just pick a place in the forest here and just,
sure,
go
but
to
it's
a tree?
sure it's going to be, but ultimately it's going to be several dozen places. Okay, start with 1, expand to 2, and know ultimately within a year you should be in several dozen places. And charting. When's the last time you went to that place? Has it been more than 4 or 5 months? If not, go back. Okay.
So this is a daily practice, I'm thinking?
In the beginning, it'll be a daily practice until you guys get really good at it. And then it'll be how dense you can make your offering so it can last weeks or months in a particular area. Okay? Food is one of the most potent ways. Alcohol is one of the most potent ways. If you and your husband were to, let's say, brew a hard alcohol or a beer with the intentions of not drinking it other than taste testing it, sealing it in a bottle, and taking it to a place of ancestral energies and doing all the magic on it during the creation of this brew, like putting in all the contract revocations, the consciousness strike, telling the alcohol your story, who you are, and what it took for you to be in this world, as well as your husband talking about being a First Nations person in this modern world in the concrete jungle, giving knowledge and wisdom to that brew, and then burying it in an area. And then doing that dozens of places over the year, you will begin to change all of the ancestral relations with you.
So would we start that on the plot of land? We've already kind of got it earmarked what he wants for himself.
I would put the 4 corners.
That's different from where we are.
Yeah, I would do it on the 4 corners of wherever you are, the 4 corners of the property, the 4 corners of the house, also.
Okay. Now, and are you spilling this onto the ground, or are you leaving it in a vessel?
Leaving it in a vessel, preferably, and burying it. Though you can use it as putting it on the ground. Will it lose its effectiveness? Yes, it will after rain, after rain, after rain. When one seals it in a container and buries it, it's intended to last a long time.
Okay.
It'll become a legacy to that land, putting alcohol deep underground with the fullest of spiritual intelligence behind it to balance ancestral energies.
Can I use my stepson to help me communicate with ancestors?
Sure, absolutely you can. But you still need to add, your husband needs to add his, more than 2 cents in. Got way more than 2 cents.
Process.
Yeah.
All right.
Right. So one other thing with ancestral energies, they are, in your particular area, a lot of ruffled feathers, we'll simply call it that.
Yes, absolutely, we know.
in the physical world, what the hell is ruffling their feathers that none of these groups can get along together?
They don't know anymore. It's like the Hatfields and the McCoys around here. It's absolutely ridiculous, and they all hate us. We're very much persecuted. We live in our own little bubble. We come down our driveway. We try to keep to ourselves, and we pretty much live amongst hostility all the time.
Why?
I think they see my husband as a threat. He's the first of his family that's moved home. It's a very small reserve. There's not much land left to give over.
Okay.
And he's also very capable. And he's done some really good work around here. And I think he's just stepped on some toes. But he did it out of the goodness of his heart, not to show off.
Okay. It's important that he follows through and does the ancestral balancing work. I think you can get a lot of that to change. If it doesn't change, you guys got to go. And he's got to give a speech that calls the spades the spades.
See, that's a tough one because his grandma came to him about 6 years ago in a dream. It took him about 3 years to figure out what it was. And she called him home.
Yeah, I get it. To do the ancestral work. To do the ancestral work.
Because his son has received the message from you and from others that heal the land, heal the people.
Sure, but there's going to come a point where the people don't want to be healed. Find a new land to heal the new people.
Okay.
Okay? There are others of that tribe that are out there who are going to come back and face the same thing.
Well, he's hoping to get his dad moved here. His mom won't, but she does have cancer. We don't know how much longer she's going to be around. Yeah. But his dad desperately wants to be here.
Then start doing the ancestral work with such intimate desire, extra credit seeking. It will pay itself back. And again, I'm going to give you this caveat. If it gets to the point where you can't heal the Hatfields and McCoys, go find another land. You will know by your offerings if it's an unfixable place. And I mean it. You will know by your offerings. As your offerings get more potent and more strong, as you bring the consciousness strike and to begin fending off the predatorial entities that are influencing people to be that way.
Okay.
Okay? Got to be willing to be the spiritual warriors here.
I think I am. I think I have the guts for it.
You do. You do. But it's follow through, spiritual hygiene, and endurance right now. Okay. It might be a good idea for you and your son and your husband to look at the course and share it. Because there's some concepts in there for ancestral work, such as the peacekeeper and the peacemaker, that are expanded in the course. I think it could greatly help you change that land.
Well, we want to.
Okay.